KL says it takes some people decades to get a pro card. You are blessed. Thank you, brother. Also, he has a suggestion. He says, move to New York. Come to the Big
Well, thank
Apple.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you. Well, actually, New York is a big possibility for me, so it might actually happen.
yeah, and yeah, it's good. New York is a big city. I know Manon did her last couple of shows in Florida, so that's also a good place. Either way you go, I mean, America. This is how this is an old movie called Pretty Woman. If you heard of it, there's a part in the movie where the guy says, "It's Hollywood. Everybody wants to come here." That's the thing with America right now. What we're going through with our country right now. I mean, I don't know. You probably got a chance, but I'm not gonna get to that. I'm not gonna get to that. We have a mess on our hands. Um, Also, this is from a man, KL says, what you need to work on. I don't know if you covered that one. So, what was the critiques for the judges after you got your pro card? Because I know a lot of competitors get you a critique.
For example, for figure, there's very little. For example, maybe a little bit more legs. That's probably the only area where I could grow for figure, because my upper body is pretty okay. Maybe a little bit more shoulders, just more density, but not necessarily size. For women's physique, yeah, I probably need another good 10 to 20 pounds of muscle, for size and density. Not so much my back. My back's pretty well developed, but legs and arms. So right now, my biggest focus are my legs. So leg days, full send, and then arms.
Yeah, that's one thing is you want to be a more complete athlete, especially with figure. You want the round delts, cap shoulders. With physique, yes, you want more fullness in the quads. You want to have that overall aesthetic for which division you're working in. What's the thing you feel like is your best feature physically?
My back, yeah,
It's always the
my
back.
back. Yeah, I feel like my back shots are pretty strong. And if anything, I think that's also what got me my pro card, and what also got me to the overall in women's physique. My back shots are pretty well. My back's pretty well developed. It's my strongest part, which is funny because it's like my least favorite body part to train. However, it grows well on its own, so I'm happy about that. So my back's probably the only thing I don't really need to work on because it's gonna grow on its own anyways. So I'm heavily focused on my quads, especially, but my legs in general, and then my arms. I made really good progress on my shoulders this last year, but it's for me personally, like for the criteria, my shoulders are pretty okay. But for me personally, I really like big shoulders, so I definitely want to grow them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a process. And it's a good thing that you take this time. Like don't rush to it. Take your time, build yourself, and then whatever comes. This is a process. Often I say that this bodybuilding is a process that you have to really understand it before you fully trust it, and then
Yeah.
to figure out the aesthetics of which makes you a better athlete. Here's from a man. KA says, "I like your glutes. Nice." Saw the pictures. He's more of a fan of the women with muscle. I ain't saying it again, but what
Yeah.
I said that's the thing about bodybuilding. There is the stigma to it, especially as a
Yes.
woman, because people don't like the idea of women with muscle, and also the expense. Because I can think about it, you're in another country. You have to go all to Romania to do this show, and then the cost of travel, your suits, and like I said, you have to be presentable because you have to have that fine line between femininity and masculinity. I mean, for the guys, it's easy. All they got to do is wear a pair of board shorts and banana hammock. But for y'all ladies, there's so much involved in it for y'all to,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a lot of expenses, your heels, your bikini, your makeup, your hair, and they're very expensive. But it all comes down to your budget. You have to have your budget down and know what you can afford or not. You're not going to start a prep if your budget does not allow you to pay for your travel expenses or just your registration for the show. So you need to be at a financially comfortable place so that you can afford to do a proper prep and a proper competition season. then again, if your budget is a bit tight, you're not gonna do 5 or 6 or 7 shows. You're gonna do one, maybe two, if they're not too expensive. And then the choice of shows. There are some countries like Romania is a pretty very affordable choice, I find, because your travel expenses, your lodging, everything is going to be pretty affordable. You can't do anything about the expenses of the competition itself, like your TAN, your registration. Those are the same anywhere you go. But there are countries that are more expensive to travel to. So your choice of shows is also important when it comes to your budget.
Because I know a friend of mine, her name is Lloyd Conley. She made her pro debut at the Romanian in Romania at the Master Olympia last year, and she told me how much
Mm.
it cost for her because she lives in California. That's all the way on the west coast of the United States, and it cost her husband, and her trainer. That was expensive, but she told me when they got there, lodging and everything was a lot expensive, a lot cheaper because the American dollar is a lot more
Yeah.
than some other countries. Here we have a comment for my man KL. Shout to KL. He says, as long as you're happy, that's what counts. As long as you are not putting harm to yourself or anyone else. Yeah, that's the thing as long
Yeah.
as you do what you do, that's all that counts. Also, he asked like this says he says also how long you been studying to be a doctor. So when did this came to when you wanted to be a doctor? When was that?
Well, from a very young age, because I was always interested on how the body works, and I think that's also kind of how that connected into bodybuilding. I wanted to understand the human body better and how it's able to do what it does, and why things go wrong when things go wrong, and how we can fix them. So I went into med school in 2016. I graduated in 2022, and I'm now going into residency training. So yeah, it was 6 years because here in Europe, med school is undergraduate, so it's 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think here in the States, I think it's like about you usually do 4 years of regular college, then you do 4 years in we go to medical school, and you
Yeah,
might do like 6 years or 5 years as a resident before you do.
exactly.
I think it's pretty much about the same, but I think everybody has different steps.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have here from my man Muhammad. Shout to Muhammad coming through. Says, do you find it easy or hard to have refeed days and cheat days with your eating disorder history or no refeed? So yes, the one thing, especially as being a bodybuilder, food is a very important part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
And you're dealing with eating disorder. Is that really tough for you, especially you know the type of foods that you eat? Which things you feel like are the things that you prefer when you're on your diet?
Well, obviously, I follow the meal plan that my coach will set out for me, right? So I just eat my meal plan, I follow my meal plan, and I'm very comfortable with that. When it comes to refeeds, when I have, for example, I did have quite a lot of refeeds, or my coach likes to call them saturation days during prep, which would be like really high carb days. And on my meal plan, I would have to have sushi and cookies, for example. And I have to admit, the first time I was at the beginning of it was a bit scary because for me, prep meant, starving. So having sushi and cookies and so much food in one day seemed a little crazy. But I'm a highly disciplined person. If my coach told me to eat rocks, I would ask him what kind, and I would eat them. So if coach said, 30 pieces of sushi plus a cookie, I was eating it and I didn't feel any guilt. It was maybe a little bit stressful the first couple of days because it felt weird. It felt unreal that I'm 6 weeks out and I'm eating a huge plate of sushi and cookies. But if I trust my coach 100%, so I always followed the plan. Now, off season, for example, first couple of days post show, I was eating freely. I didn't feel any guilt or anything because I was just so happy that I didn't give a damn. But now that I'm in my off season and I'm back on my, let's say, health phase plans and I'm following my plans again, I do have my coach allows me to have two or even three cheat meals if I want per week. I do struggle with them actually because of my eating disorder. Because I feel like either because of fear foods, for example, if it's something very dirty, greasy like pizza, burgers, etc. So that's always gonna be a bit scary. But I think the biggest kind of mind block is the fact that you're eating something that's not on your plan. Because if, for example, my coach told me tonight, I want you to order a burger and fries and eat it, I would eat it with no absolute problem because my coach ordered it. So I know that it's strategically placed for a reason, right? So I'm doing this for a reason. But if it's just for pleasure, just because, oh, it's a Saturday night, let's order pizza, and not follow our plan, if it's just for pleasure, that I struggle with because then there's the fact that I feel like it's not that I feel like I'm not disciplined enough, but I feel like I strayed off plan. I was weak at that point. I gave in to the weakness. I wasn't strong enough to, not have it. And that's something very wrong. That's like the worst relationship with food you can have. And that's something that I'm actively right now with my coach. So he's helping me fight it. So that's why I'm having like I force myself to have at least one cheat meal per week without compensation because like in the past I would do I wouldn't eat carbs the rest of the day, or maybe I walk some extra steps, and I'm actively trying to fix that relationship because in the end it's not going to affect my physique. I know that, and I need to kind of get off that you know get off that mind block, get off that fear, and just have a healthier relationship with food. And that's also what I try to teach my athletes as well. So I need to set the example that I want for my athletes.
That's good. You know what? It's good that you have a good relationship with your coach. Like you said, eat rocks. I mean, you probably say, "I want you to eat shoe level and love it." And that's yeah. I mean, it's tough. And I know that's the thing about food. It is an important part of the body, bro. Especially with your history dealing with food disorders. It's tough. I know. I'm a big dude. I mean, I know. I think a good bit, but I've learned that to eat smarter. I know some days I like to have something like a little greasy, a little fat, like a burger, anything like that. But sometimes I bake myself a piece of chicken, and have some broccoli. At one point, I was almost 500 pounds because I was taking care of my mother for a long time, and I was just food was something was a comfort because you know what it does. You taste it, it makes you feel good. I still try to have some control over myself, but every now and then, like I might have like like a cookies and cakes like that. I got a couple of they call zebra cakes in my kitchen right now. I ate some of them yesterday, but there's so much to this sport, to understanding what the process you need to help you develop as an athlete. Like after the show, so you like cookies and fish. I'm sorry, I can't eat cold fish like that. I gotta sushi's not my thing. I like the cookies part, but not the fish. What was that thing that you have after the show? Because I know you building that prep and you're
Listen,
stalking.
listen. When we went to Romania, and one of the reasons why I wanted to go to the Romania Muscle Show, okay, there is one of the best burger restaurants. It's actually called the Cheat Meal Headquarters. So the Burger Factory, that it's a big chain. There's also one in Dubai. So it's called the Bossman's Burger Factory, and they make some of those giga, like the biggest and most, craziest burgers you can ever imagine. And I had my personal favorite with it, which is basically a chicken waffle sandwich. Like it's like waffles with fried chicken, bacon, cheddar, onions, all drowned in maple syrup. Had some onion rings on the side, and it was delicious. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to do that show. I wanted that post show meal because we every time we go to Romania, we go to that place. So I fully enjoyed that meal. Really, if you're in Romania, if you're in Bucharest, I fully recommend just try it.
Well, thank you. Maybe one of these days I'll leave the country and check that out. I know one lady who I actually met a few years ago, Alina Popa. She's from Romania, and
Yeah, I
she
met her at the show. She's amazing.
she like I said, I mentioned before, she had a beautiful physique, great competitor, top notch competitor. She's part of Wings of Strength, which is this. She created that show. Also, she has a new show, the Atlanta, the Alina Popa Classic, but that's exclusive for women's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good that you found some control and to handle with your disorder. And it's good that you have both your coach and your husband that support you in that. This is from our man Mohammed. Shot to him again. Says, I'm still struggling with eating normally after my fat loss phase. I'm always hungry and always want cookies and chocolate. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Also, this is from Mickey. I remember back in the days I ate sushi. It was actually good, but I can't eat that now. Yeah, I can never eat cold fish. I've been poor, but not that food poor when I eat cold fish raw. No, no, that's just me. So,
Yeah.
so folks.
About the fat loss phase, it's very common for if you basically are in a calorie deficit for a very long time, and if you're a fat loss phase, a cut, a competition prep, whatnot, and you go hungry for a while, then the moment food starts to go back into your system, it takes a while for your hunger levels, your hunger cues to go back to normal. So a lot of people, especially post show, they struggle with extreme hunger, which is basically you're gonna be insatiable. It doesn't matter how much you eat. That hunger is gonna stay because it's not actually your stomach asking for food; it's your brain. After so long of depriving yourself of your favorite foods, once you feel like you have the freedom to eat them again, you feel like you can't stop. I'm very lucky. I don't have that. I especially this post show. Actually, my because my stomach shrank from all those months of dieting. I'm struggling to eat the food that I have to eat now on my meal plan, so my hunger is pretty low. And you just need to remember that it's not your stomach, it's your brain. So it's a relationship with food. You need to remember that food will be there tomorrow. I mean, cookies and chocolate are always going to be there. You don't have to eat the whole bar in a sitting. You can have a piece and have another piece the next day. And it's more about, it needs more mental work than actual eating, because you can do all the binge eating you want and you're still gonna feel insatiable, and then you're gonna feel very bad about yourself on top of that. So it's really not worth it.
Yeah, because the thing is, the body versus the mind is one thing, and the mind has a lot of the control over the body, but you sometimes have to fight those temptations because there's sometimes I like there was a movie called New Jack City. It saw Chris Rock where he's like a drug addict says like, "It be calling me, man, be calling my name," and that's how it is with food. Sometimes be like, "It be calling me, man, be calling me," but there's times I do resist it and I fight back, but there's times where, what the hell, I might as well just go ahead. I mean, it's just so temptation. Here, what we're gonna do, folks, is that this is where I saw it from because I follow Female Body Channel. AJ and JB, they've been on my live stream couple times, especially JB. I also took part with a couple live streams before in the past. This is where I really said, you know what, she has an amazing body. How guys my crime, Clio, I'm a muscle person. I think y'all women are so muscular and so fit and beautiful. We can't help ourselves. But this is an interview she gave with the Female Bodybuilding Channel. You want to check it out? Go to the Female Bodybuilding Channel, and also support because this is where really she shined. So here we go. Here.
Stepped off stage.
I did.
You're in the middle for figure,
And women's
and you are in the middle for physique.
Yes.
Where do you want to compete? Where do you want to turn pro? Figure or physique?
Physique.
Physique.
Yeah.
Let's see the physique posting 2 shots of physique. She's really great condition, but also the lines. Look at that conditioning. Look at the glutes. Beautiful. And then let's see the figure poses. The front figure. Let's see how that looks. So guys, figure or physique. She might turn pro in both. Finals is in 3 hours. Good luck.
Yeah. Well, AJ, like I said, oi, oi, oi. Like I said, you have a beautiful physique, and you worked hard to obtain that physique. I mean, like I
Thank
said,
you.
bodybuilding. Yeah, no need to thank me because you know what? it's see, I'm from the South. As a Southern gentleman, it's my pleasure to tell a lady that she is beautiful. That's my job, man. So but I really people didn't understand. There's a lot of work to this. It's not as easy. It's like for the people from the outside who are like myself, who sit in the crowd, we see on the stage, we see these beautiful physiques, your stock rating, your condition. There's it's just amazing. And then there's so much factor to it because you are starving yourself because you're hungry because you're on your diet, the work you got to put in the gym, the time you have to put into it, the investment into the sport. From the mindset of as there's guys who we are called schmoes because we love women bodybuilding. We see these rock hard, amazing women. There's the old schmo saying, "When you're rock hard, we're rock hard." But there's so much work to it that involves to be a bodybuilder.
Yeah, it's I have a saying that I always say, it's not luck, it's hard work. Because most people, when they see someone succeed, they say, "Oh, she's so lucky." It has nothing to do with luck. Like maybe I have good genetics. Yeah, I probably do have good genetics, but genetics on their own don't build muscle. You actually have to go to the gym and do the work. You have to eat your meals. You have to. I've sacrificed a lot, and this prep was really hard. It was even hard on my relationship. We had a lot of tension with my husband because I'm not the nicest person when I'm on prep. Who is when you're like exhausted and you're hungry and your hormones are like all over the place? So it can be extremely difficult on your relationships, and I probably missed out on a lot of things that I will never be able to take back. And obviously I don't regret anything, and I'm very happy that to have made those sacrifices in order to achieve the pro status that I wanted to. But it's something that you guys need to consider. We sacrifice a lot in order to succeed in this sport, and it takes a lot of hard work because a lot of other sports you just need to perform when you're in the arena, right? When you're in the field. But for us, it's our lifestyle. It has to do with the water that we drink, the salt that we put in our food on the day, the food that we eat on a daily basis, the hours that we sleep, the supplements we take, our training, our recovery methods. So there are no days off, and all the work is actually not on stage. On stage you're just showcasing a very small proportion of the months or years of work before that, because you need to work for years, and then you go on stage for maybe 5 minutes and you're judged by a panel of complete strangers that we maybe look at you for a couple of seconds, and then that's it. And maybe you're lucky and you attract their attention and you win, or maybe they don't even look at you and you paid all that money to get 15th place. That's the reality of it.
Yeah, it's tough because there's so many sacrifices. 'Cause I know ladies I talk to that because they got to sport. Sometimes friendships have changed. Sometimes the family members don't understand. They can't do what they like to do. Like yeah, you're a young lady, you have to go out and have a good time, but you got to rest. You got to get up in the morning, go to the gym. Bodybuilding is 24/7, 7 days a
Yeah.
week. And it's just not just something you do out of whim. What I mean? It's change of your lifestyle. Doing things are not considered the norm by the everyday person. And it takes a lot of that hard work, and you have to be committed to it because there is going to be days we have to make sacrifices. I know there's times, like I said, you love your husband, you really want to spend more time with him. He's also doing sacrifice because he's also competitive himself, and it's
Hmm.
tough. And I know it's tough to be two bodybuilders in the family together because I know quite a few who have been. But like I said, this is a sport you do for a passion. It's truly a passion sport. We have here comment from a man KL. He says, "Do you box a little? I seen a picture of you with boxing gloves on in the ring."